I have 6 tomatoes planted inside this greenhouse bed, and the varieties are Cherokee Purple, Brad's Yellow Pear, some volunteer, I think they may be 4th of July hybrid tomatoes. Those are the last ones I remember growing in this greenhouse, as well as my favorite tomato, the Rio Grande, and a dwarf tomato, which is an Alcufa. So typically, what I like to do is make sure that my stakes are secured and my tomato cages, I'll secure them to the ground, usually with some landscape staples. Sometimes I'll even use the tomato cages upside down so that I can have that wide base and then thin the tomatoes as they head up to the top. Um, and have them curl around the top of the tomato cage by placing them upside down. I just feel it just gives me a little bit more room and it makes it a little easier to harvest. I prune the indeterminate varieties pretty heavily because they did have so many suckers. I did have a bit of green fruit fall off as I was pruning and adjusting, and those are going to make a great fried green tomato snack for the family. And as far as my determinate tomatoes, even though they don't need a tomato trellis, I do put them on a stake because once they begin to fruit, those fruits get very heavy and I don't want those fruits to touch the ground. So I just use some bamboo stakes or some leftover wood and tied it up with some gardening twine so I can just keep those tomatoes elevated off the ground. One of the things I love about the Rio Grande tomato is it's great fresh and it's great for canning. So, what I like to do is snip, strip, and dip. That's snip one of the suckers off of the plant, strip down some of those leaves, and dip it in some water so that I can have another round of those determinate tomatoes soon as that determinate tomato plant dies off. I always say the Rio Grande tomato is buy one, get three free, and I love to propagate another round of planting as the season progresses. So these are my tomato plants after I threw a lot of those leaves into a compost bin with some of that, some brown paper, brown cardboard paper, and hopefully I can get some compost out of that. Composting is certainly not my strong point, but I'm really looking forward to a summer of these 4 varieties of tomatoes. That's Rio Grande, Alcufa, Brad's Yellow Pear, and Cherokee Purple. And I think this may be that volunteer 4th of July. So I'll keep you all posted when it's time to harvest and all the unique and incredible recipes I'll be doing. Welcome to my urban garden, and thank you for tuning in. And remember, there's always room to grow.